Welcome everyone again to this webinar from Wagga Digital on how to increase revenue and attract top talent in the care sector. We've got a great speaker for you today, Sophie. Sophie's been working with the care sector probably for as long as she's been here, so probably about 3 years now.
Yeah.
But my name's Rebecca. I'm Digital Transformation Manager here at Wagga Digital. So I run our web development team and also our HubSpot team. I've had the pleasure of working on a number of websites for the care sector, one of which is Sarah's that we're working on at the minute. So hopefully she'll say that we've got a bit of expertise in that area. But it's not all about me. We are a 26-person business based across the UK with offices in St Albans, which is where Sophie and I are coming in from today. Also over in Cheltenham, and a office that we've opened in London recently, probably within the last year. So there's a lot of people here with a lot of expertise in all areas of digital marketing. And as I say, we've got 3 offices across the UK, and we have won a lot of awards as well for our digital marketing efforts. So whether you're looking at SEO, content writing, as I say, website design, and development, we do have expertise across there in everything to do with digital marketing. And just finally, before I pass on to Sophie, I know that there's a lot of different CRMs that are used within the care sector. We're actually HubSpot Platinum partners here at Wagga. So if you are using HubSpot for your CRM, or even if you're thinking about moving away, do talk to us about how HubSpot might be able to help you with your contact management and with your nurture workflows and things, which I think Sophie's going to move on to a bit later on. If you are using HubSpot at the minute as well, we are offering some free mini audits, so we're calling them spot checks. So when we send this over, you'll have that QR code on there, and you'll be able to sign up for one of those free audits as well. So I will now pass you on to Sophie, our absolute expert in this area, and let you talk through. Thanks, Sophie.
Brilliant. Thanks, Bex. Welcome, everyone. I think I met a couple of you at the Care Show, so it's lovely to see you on the webinar this morning. So I'm Sophie Skilton. I am the Sales and Marketing Manager here at Wagga. But the care sector is one of my specialist areas. I've looked after a range of clients in the care sector, and I'm also a employer branding strategist as well. So really excited to be going through this webinar with you this morning. If you do have any questions during the course of the webinar, feel free to pop them in the chat. We do have a Q&A at the end, so we can go through those. But if there's anything that's really relevant to a slide that I'm going through, then Bex will ask me your questions. Brilliant. So this morning we will be have a look at some of the current trends in the care sector, aligning marketing and sales, then delving into some of the really effective marketing tactics in the care sector. Looking at how we can use data to make informed decisions. Obviously, it's really important that everything we do within marketing, we're continuously looking back at data and seeing what it's delivering against business objectives. And then we're going to be having a look into the importance of powerful employer branding as well, which is really exciting. So to kickstart, we're going to have a look into some of the current trends in the care sector, as there's a huge amount going on, and it's always really important to have a look at what is going on within the sector, within society, to ensure that we're continuously adapting our marketing so it resonates with our target audiences. So to start with, over the past few years, as we're all aware, there has been a huge amount of economic challenges that people are facing. Obviously, we continue to experience the cost of living crisis. There's been a surge in energy bills, which is affecting a huge amount of people, and it's making people consider actually if they can pay for care, whether they're for themselves or a family member, and it's becoming quite a difficult decision. And a lot of this comes down to concerns about care fees. What I've noticed working within the care sector, having looked at care providers for my grandparents in the past as well, is there's not a huge amount of transparency about fees in the care sector. Obviously, there's more state kind of provision and there's private provision as well. And I think because there isn't a huge amount of information, it's got that kind of a lot of confusion about it and people not knowing how to go about it and what things are in place. So it's really important that care providers are able to provide an education about that, But you may want to work with a third party, company, because we've got to be really careful not advising on any financial decisions. But that's something that is really pertinent for families, is actually how fees work, and what options are there. I think when it's kind of unknown, it almost becomes, oh, I can't do it. As when you actually delve into it and see actually what's available, what can be done, it makes things a little easier. Obviously, the care provision is a high involvement purchase decision, which we all know. It's obviously a very high purchase. We don't know how long that kind of care will be provided. It gets very expensive, but it's also a very emotional decision as well, because it's about yourself or a family member. And what's really important here is being able to provide that understanding, that compassion, that support during that process as well. So I think it's really easy when you're kind of in the care sector, kind of forget how actually, how high involvement it actually is for people. So it's always important to have that in the back of your mind. So taking all of that into account, what we have noticed, I'm sure everyone here has noticed, post-COVID, with the cost of living crisis, economic challenges, people are needing more touch points to actually convert, to pick up the phone, send an email, etc. I know kind of pre-COVID, some people just turned up at a care home, asked to kind of have a little look around and kind of ask questions. As now it's people are just needing a bit more support and information before they get to that point. And that's where marketing becomes really important. So ensure you've got all the right information on your website, on social media, whether that's also doing events, because that customer journey is much more extended than it used to be even 4 or 5 years ago. And as a result of that, with the result of people concerned about care home fees, cost of living crisis, people are actually starting to care for their family members more themselves, and actually using respite care a little bit more, so they're able to have that little break and they don't have that long-term investment by doing respite care. Now, this is great. However, it's also a little bit frustrating because you've got all of these inquiries coming in, and you're filling your pipeline. But if you've got a lot of respite care cases, it's actually then thinking this could then be an opportunity to move it into more long-term care. So what we could actually delve into is have a look at actually strategies to move people from that respite care and moving them into that long-term care solution. And ultimately, it does come down to building those relationships and trust, which has become a really, really big thing post-COVID and the economic challenges. We can go into that further as well. Now, in terms of recruitment, so we're going into employer branding later, is the challenges of staff recruitment and retention. And we particularly notice this across the London area and home counties, and there's different pockets across the UK. And obviously within the care sector, you have to have a certain amount of staff available for the residents in your care. And this is obviously becoming, a difficult area if you've got to rely on agency staff, which are very expensive. Replacing people gets very expensive, and can actually cause problems internally because you're lacking staff. So we'll go into actually how recruitment marketing can work really well to help actually recruit top talent and also continue to retain them. And then lastly, with the kind of increase in respite care, how people need more touch points conversion, it's becoming increasingly important to have good software to track inquiries, making care businesses' life easier, but also making sure that you're able to have a look at demand versus capacity, whether that's out in the care community or within a care home setting. So hopefully that was quite helpful, just going through some of the trends that we're seeing within the care sector. And on the back of that, we've got some top tips. So as I kind of mentioned, it's showing that you care, develop mission that's really going to resonate, whether it's going to resonate with family members or the person that will be receiving care themselves. Providing information on care fees as much as you can, and maybe pulling in another company that can talk about that financial support as well. But just making it a lot more transparent, easy to digest, and understandable. Looking to develop a process to track inquiries, so you've got that demand versus capacity. One of my care clients actually send me their occupancy report every month, and we pivot on their marketing depending on what care home needs more support in the short term. And then creating that employer brand that will resonate with top talent and ultimately retain talent for you so that you don't have to continuously rely on agency staff as well. So moving on to how to align marketing and sales, which is really key because ultimately marketing is about getting those sales in. And the starting point is always coming down to what do you want to achieve? What is your care business's objectives? And we can have a look at them through what we call SMART objectives. And this is really great framework to actually make sure that we're doing a really relevant objective that actually we can measure, etc. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And if you can make those, that's absolutely great because you can continue to refer to them. And I've got some examples here. So it could be that actually you want to increase occupancy by 15%, could be in a particular care home or location within 9 months. You might want to have a look at reduced time to hire by 20% in 6 months, for instance. So you've got what you want to do, you've got your statistic, you've got your time bound there. But you might also want to have a think of, objectives that aren't necessarily completely smart. You might want to have a look at actually reaching the right type of people. So whether that's from a marketing point of view or for an employer branding point of view, because actually that comes down to the brand and the messaging and the core marketing itself. So it's always really important to have that so that you've got that base to work your marketing from, but it also means that you can have a look back at that as you progress through your marketing and see whether you're hitting those goals.
So, Sophie, I think that's a really good point there about setting the goals. What would you say about how people would track them and monitor them rather than just setting them and then forgetting them?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So when it comes down to certain metrics, for instance, anything to do with a website, it's really important to set up your goals within GA4. So you can actually see there how many people are calling, for instance. You know exactly what page they're coming from, how many inquiries are coming through forms. So that's something that you can definitely do via GA4. Now, if you want to kind of more measure occupancy, and I'll be moving on to this later, this is where CRM system really plays its part. And it's really important you can completely track that and you can track that demand versus supply as well. So that's a great question, and we'll move on to that CRM a bit later too.
Oh, thanks, Sophie.
So in terms of once you kind of got your objectives, you then got to think, right, okay, so I've got those objectives. How am I actually going to go about actually achieving them? And this is where we need to start thinking about marketing and how you're going to go about that. So it's about thinking about, how you're going to reach almost strangers, basically, how you're going to attract those people. And then you move them around to, you've got prospects of people that started becoming engaged with them. How are you going to engage them further? And once they're customers, it's really key that we don't just stop marketing to them. Actually, how are we going to delight them? Because not only will you keep them as a customer, they'll also, you've got that word of mouth and they'll recommend your company to their friends as well. So it's this cycle. This is exactly where marketing fits in, and we'll go through tactics exactly of how to attract, engage, and delight. And essentially, this all comes down to that growth piece. So you're hitting your business objectives there. It's a really nice visual to see actually how that works. And Bex, this is where we come into the CRM system. So we've got HubSpot here, which is absolutely brilliant. And we use it internally for Wagda. We're platinum partners and we use it for a variety of our clients as well. And it's a brilliant way to track the progress of inquiries. Bex, I don't know if you want to kind of go through that a little bit more, especially with like workflows and nurturing prospects.
Yeah, absolutely, I can do. I think you're entirely right in what you said there, Soph, about it's about tracking the inquiries as they come through, but then it's about making sure that you're nurturing those people. As you were saying before, you've got all of those other touch points and all of those things that people are now looking into. So they might make an inquiry on your site, but then they might also be making inquiries on 4 or 5 other sites at the same time. And it's about not just getting that inquiry and sending out your standard email like, thanks for your inquiry, do you want to book visit or something. It's about sending them more information, making sure that you're giving them something valuable that's going to bring that trust to them and make them think, oh, actually, I have inquired here, but I do want to visit because I've now got all of this extra stuff. And you can do this in many software platforms. So you could choose to just use an email platform like MailChimp, but what something like HubSpot will do is make sure that you can track that what we call the life cycle stage of them. So we can track them from the initial inquiry, put them into a workflow that starts sending out all of these emails and these nurture pieces to them, so that you as a team don't need to worry about who's coming back, who you need to chase up. Everything's there in the platform and it's kind of doing the job for you. So it makes that much easier, especially when you're trying to grow and you're trying to manage occupancy. So I think there are, as I said at the beginning, there are lots of different software platforms that I know the care industry use. But I think whichever software platform you're using, it's about making sure it's set up to run your processes most efficiently and make sure that you are looking at those inquiries as real human beings and what do they need from you at this point, and then using the software to take that pressure off of, small marketing teams or even sales teams. Take that pressure off and give people what they need without you guys actually having to do it. So I'm happy to talk to anybody about HubSpot or those kinds of nurturing from the point of inquiry. If we need to afterwards, just get in touch with me or with Sophie and we can sort that out.
Brilliant. Thanks, Bex. That's really, really helpful. I love that bit that you said about being human. I think that's so important in the care sector. It's really showing kind of the understanding and everything that you do, even during the sales process, is actually a reflection on the service that you provide as a care provider. And it is so key, especially with people needing more touch points. The journey's got longer as well.
Absolutely. I think you're right in what you said. It's such an emotional decision for people that you can't treat inquiries like other businesses might treat sales at all.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody in this room already knows that, but it's just about how you do that and make that more efficient for you, I think.
Yeah, no, 100%. Brilliant. Thanks, Bex. So then moving on to have a look at some of the effective market tactics in the care sector. So we'll have a run through of some different tactics here. But to start with, I thought this would be really helpful to have a look at the customer journey. So going back to about that attract, delight, etc. that we went through in terms of that sales process, is actually having a look at actually where these tactics fit into that journey. So in terms of that attract piece, so actually reaching people, SEO, so making sure that your website is optimized with the relevant keywords. Certain people, search for care providers within to Google, that you're one of the providers that comes up, and actually they may not have heard about your company before, but they've actually got that need, and that's how they then find you at your website. Doing some digital PR, providing commentary, and I'm going to go into some of those examples later, is actually a brilliant way to reach people and also gain backlinks to improve the domain authority of your website. You've also got paid social media, which can work really well and develop that brand awareness. And also doing that events, which almost goes between kind of that reach and act phase, really is kind of that pulling people in, whether that's through a webinar or a physical event in the community or in a particular care home. And then once people have moved from kind of reach, they move into the act phase. So it could be that they found you via Google. They then might have attended one of your events. They then might be popping onto your social media. They could be looking at 2 of your different social media accounts. They then might read a blog. They then might check on your reviews, whether that's on Google or through carehome.co.uk. So you can see how this is many touch points during the journey. And then once they've kind of, they've understood, your company enough, they feel actually, it's starting to resonate with them. They're starting to move into that convert stage. If they've seen that you've got that award nomination, you've had success, they've had some email marketing from you. They're then at this point looking to inquire, whether by phone or a form. And what is really, really key is having an easy to use website. Because if you do all of this amazing work, they've gone through all these touch points, this whole journey, gone through all your socials, etc. They then come to your website and it's not easy to actually reach out to you. We're stopping them at that hurdle. So for me, that is always the absolute most important, having your website in a really good place, easy to use, easy to navigate. And then once they become a customer, obviously taking them on that journey internally with all that really good communication, ensuring it's really supportive, compassionate, etc. But when they become a customer, whether that's individual or those family members, it's important that we continue to engage or delight them. And that's having bespoke customer service. Again, really being supportive, as we all know. Organic social is also really important, especially for family members, seeing that residents being well looked after with all those different activities that are available, that they're having a good time. Obviously, that's probably more relevant within the care home setting, but can also be done for those in assisted living. And then do email marketing as well. So slightly different to the email marketing that we would send to prospects, kind of about kind of the care home, but actually doing email marketing to keep people warm. It could even be an afternoon tea and family members can come and visit that care home, for instance, or whether there could be an event for those within the assisted living area. So there's lots that can be done during that customer journey. It's always, really important to remember there's so many touch points, engagements that people have to go through until they pick up that phone or submit that inquiry. So in terms of one of the tactics, so this is an example of one of the care home groups that I look after, which is B&M Care. We do a lot of blog content. And as you can see here, we've done a few around the fees piece. So what financial assistance is available for people living with dementia. And we've also got what is the care home fees cap and what does it mean for you? And we've really doubled down on providing that education around fees and having that readily available. Ones that was really relevant back in June when we went through, I think the 1 week of the summer where we had really hot weather. It was tips for how people living with dementia to keep cool and avoid dehydration. So it's actually providing that support piece before people are actually looking potentially for care as well, and actually becoming a thought leader within the space. Now, in terms of where to find blog titles, so we have a lot of software that we use at WAGDA, really having a look at what people are searching for within Google and actually really targeting that, so we're hitting the target audience where they need us to. There's also the system which is free and readily available for anyone to use, and this is called Answer the Public. And in here, you can actually put in a couple of words, whether that's about, dementia in hot weather or dementia at Christmas. It will give a variety of results and keywords that you can then use to develop blogs on the back of that. So it's a really kind of helpful tool to help you develop that rich informational content, because it is really important to remember that when people come to your website, they actually will be reading your blogs and actually checking kind of that trust and that thought leadership within the space.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Sophia. I had a question come through on the chat about when you were on the reach engage slide about
Yes.
how people can actually rank their website above things like carehome.co.uk. You're going to tell me it's this stuff, right?
Yeah, so I mean, to rank above a national organisation such as that can be really difficult. It could be that they're more likely to be in position 1, position 2, so we might want to be targeting position 3 in that case. We've got to remember that more national organisations such as carehome.co.uk are going to have a higher domain authority and more trust by Google. So actually, the more blog content that you do will actually give more opportunity to rank for more keywords. So actually that you can rank just below it, or actually you're going to rank for a keyword that actually carehome.co.uk isn't, because they haven't actually got relevant pages for that on the website. And hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, I'm just thinking maybe as well it's about people who are even nearer the start of their journey. They're just looking to see whether a care home is right rather than searching for care homes, and that's where the blog content comes in.
Absolutely, yeah. So carehome.co.uk wouldn't necessarily be doing that content. So this is actually where businesses can really stand out and actually really rank a lot higher, because some of these big organisations aren't doing this type of content. That gives great opportunity. Absolutely, really great question. So in terms of AI, so we all know the rise of AI and actually how it can actually provide a lot of support. So within ChatGPT, just kind of popped in, generate 5 blog content ideas for a care home. And obviously it then gives you a load, which is a great place to start. It gives you some ideas. You can ask it to develop it slightly further. What we do have to be really careful with AI, we can use it as a great platform, a great starting point, but we've got to make sure that we don't ask ChatGPT or any other AI to write the whole blog itself, because actually Google realizes this and doesn't like it. And I think as AI has evolved, I think we're starting to see, you know, we can now pinpoint what's been done by AI, especially in the recruitment space, cover letters and things like that you can easily see has been written by AI. So yes, in terms of Google and blogs on a website, Google has actually, since the algorithm update in back in March, you can actually see here that it starts to penalize AI generated content, because actually they want it to be useful content. They want it to be bespoke to a company and make sure it actually sounds like a company and actually isn't, you know, content that is going to be the same across so many different websites. So you've got to be really careful that AI is a great place to have a base and to use it for ideas, but it has got to be pretty much written by a human. That's going to be really key because Google will penalize you otherwise. Another top tip when it comes to AI is actually generating your own ChatGPT. So what we've done here is an example from Wagada, and essentially you can create your own custom one, which has all your brand messaging in, your tone of voice. That would really help you kind of have that platform within AI, so it actually starts sounding like your care business that you can then take to the next level. And we developed these for some of our clients, so please do let us know if it's something that would be of interest to you. So moving on to this kind of trust signal, reviews and reports. So we all know, you know, how important it is to have reviews. I mean, even going to a restaurant, I tend to have a look at the reviews there, see whether they know what people are thinking about it. Going back to how, you know, a care service, such a high involvement purchase decision, people will be looking for that online word of mouth, if you like. And ensuring that you have all of this updated, you've got reviews, you're asking for reviews, it's at a good kind of star rating is going to really, really be important. And I know a lot of my clients say to me, oh, do we have to be in all of these? And it's like, yes, because if you're not, it's like, oh, well, why aren't they on there? And actually people all have their own ways to have a look at reviews. Some people might go to carehome.co.uk, some people might go to Google, some people even for consumers might even go to Glassdoor to see how employees are treated. Some people might go to all of these. So it is really important to continue doing, if you're not, or start doing it if you're not already, being on all these different platforms. And obviously the Care Quality Commission is really key there as well. So an example for one of our clients, Abbott's Care, this is a really great page. You've got the Care Quality Commission at the top there. It's got the outstanding rating. You can go through to the report, but also the messaging that is here. So over 25 years of trusted, compassionate home care. That's really important that you've got those really standout messages as well. And then one of our other care clients is Lillian Faithful, and this is on the carehome.co.uk website. And you can see here one of their care homes. It's got a 9.8 rating. It's got a good amount of reviews at 45. And that's a really, really great trust signal for someone simply just wanting to just check it quickly, not necessarily delve into it, but just seeing that there just gives them that trust to convert them into the next stage. And then moving on to PR. So traditional and digital PR is a great way to build that brand awareness, reach people, but also build trust to people that already know about your care business. And we do a lot of PR. We've got a brilliant PR team here at Wagada that we do traditional and digital PR. And we've got some examples here. So for one of our clients, it was actually about a 9 women magazine, which is absolutely amazing. And it also made people internally feel really good at that care business. We've got one here with Care Insights. This was top tips to support people with dementia this Christmas. And interestingly, in the build up to Christmas, more and more people are searching for about, gifts for those living with dementia. What actually, what Christmas gifts do people want? Learn about your brand, but also in the back of their mind thinking, when actually that family member does need care, I'll be having a look into that care provider. And some other ones, digital health, care talk business. There's a huge range of publications that we can have a look to. And for the ones online, it's always great to kind of get that backlink back to your website to support that domain authority and tell Google, I'm an important website, you need to rank me higher. So I'm just having a look at social media as well. So as I mentioned, one of our care clients, B&M Care, so they do lots of social videos and posts really highlighting what goes on in the home, showing the fun, showing the different activities that goes on. And it really just builds that kind of sense of community, that trust in the care home, that people are being well looked after, and that it's fun as well. I think having fun is always really important when you start having a look at a care business or a care company. So taking into account kind of social media, having a think about paid ads as well, whether that's on Meta, so considering Facebook and Instagram, or Google ads as well. And there's always one of those discussions I always have with clients about whether to go down that paid ads route, and ensuring you don't waste budget, but we're reaching the right people. Google ads and Meta ads do work really well within the care sector. It's really important that it's done in a particular way so that budget isn't wasted and that we're actually reaching the right people. The difference between Google ads and Meta ads is Google ads, you're literally targeting keywords. So people have a need and they're finding you on Google. As Meta ads is more for that reach, for that brand awareness. So doing an ad about, say, an upcoming event, for instance, it's kind of having that brand awareness, but not necessarily reaching people that have a particular need. So how do I think about kind of balancing tactics? This is where, it gets really important actually thinking about, we've got social media, we've got PR, we've got SEO, make sure the website is running correctly, and actually thinking about where the balance is. And I think with the customer journey within the care sector, they all complement each other really, really well. It's just ensuring that we have that messaging alignment across them, and also coming back to actually the purpose of it, doing a trial, like we always do a 3-month trial of our Google ads and our Meta ads to see kind of how well it's working and whether it's suitable for your business and if it's getting that ROI for you. But it's also making sure that you're, spending budget in the right areas and resources in the right areas as well. And more budget doesn't always mean more leads. It could actually be, putting more budget if you work with an agency into SEO rather than going down Meta ads and Google ads. Obviously, it's very much of a case-by-case basis, but it's always, a bit of a juggling act. But yeah, just making sure that you really kind of think things through, and if you're running paid ads, to really see kind of that return on investment and seeing kind of what leads it's bringing your company. So that's kind of a little run through of tactics within the marketing space. But we need to also really make sure to use data to make informed decisions, actually seeing whether things are running correctly. Marketing is all about testing to a point as well. So always going back to data, having a look at the insights, how to improve things further. So it could be that actually Google Ads is working really, really well, and actually you might want to put more budget on that. So how do you know what's working? And what I briefly mentioned earlier is in GA4, you want to be making sure that those goals are all set up correctly, so you can see the calls coming through, the website forms coming through, and where that source is. You can see actually what tactics are working well. But when you actually develop your objectives, you might want to start setting kind of smaller goals and metrics that you can continue to have a look at during that journey. And these are some examples here. So having a look at awareness. So some of these metrics here are more kind of based on social media. So having a look at the reach, the impressions, the follower growth happening there. In terms of traffic, have a look at the traffic coming to your website. Is that growing? What the referrals coming from different forms such as social media? Ultimately, having a look at those conversions, having a look at those leads, emails, calls that are coming through, and tracking that all in GA4 successfully. Having a look at engagement pieces, so traffic going to your blogs, time spent on page, engagement rate on social media, but also having a look at how website pages are ranking on Google as well, because as pages more engagement, they do increase in search rankings too. And also having your ear to the ground as well, and actually hearing about word of mouth, testimonials that you're getting from your customers, from your residents, from their family members, etc. And also comments on social media posts. I think especially within the care space and being quite an emotional decision, when there's a lovely post, say it could be someone's 100th birthday and having a celebration for that, and then actually the comments on the back of that. And people don't just do comments for the sake of it these days. It does take time to kind of write a lovely comment. And within this space, to have things like that, have people commenting on your post is actually a huge win, especially if they're really super positive. And on the back of that, it's really important to always reply to posts on social media, regardless of whether it's positive or negative. So that's a good insight there in terms of continually tracking and seeing kind of how successful things are going. Perfect. Conscious of time, but our last section is on employer branding, which is really exciting, and really thinking about how marketing can support recruitment. So when we think about employer branding and recruitment, obviously it's really important to kind of develop this really great culture. But what is actually really interesting is how top talent and strong culture can actually drive business success. So interesting, there has been research done on this, and it shows that highly engaged teams show 21% greater profitability, which is obviously really important to the baseline of a business. So attracting, retaining top talent, developing a strong culture actually develops, engaged teams that ultimately are more productive as well. So when it comes to thinking about recruitment, it's really key to see actually how society has changed over time. And I think COVID has propelled it even further. So in the old world, people very much went to work to make a living. In the new world, people want that purpose. It's not just about money, but it is that purpose. So think about the culture that you have within your business. And that could be across so many things. So obviously, care is going out into the community, but in a care home setting, you've got that head office, you have chefs, you've got gardeners, you've got facilities. There's so many different aspects that go into a care business. And it's really important that they feel that they're part of that community, that they've got that purpose. In the old world, people commuted to work. As the new world, people work from anywhere. And again, in the care sector, it can be a little bit difficult for those in care roles, but it's providing that opportunity where you can for them to work from home, whether they've got to kind of finish off notes, whether they can actually do that at home. Those in the head office, to be able to give them the opportunity to work remotely. And then valuing benefits was very much the old world, what actually came with a job. As nowadays, benefits are really important. It's actually, I'll be going on to this, actually what benefits are actually going to resonate and make a difference to people. But people actually also want to feel valued themselves. They want their colleagues to feel valued. In the old world, people didn't want to, but they juggled work and life. Nowadays, people want more of that work-life balance. And it's really important to remember that and be supportive of that as well. So it's really important to kind of bear all of that in mind. So actually, what is employer branding and what does it mean? So employer brand is a set of qualities, often tangible, that makes a company distinctive and attractive. What sets you apart from your competitors? And how can you actually take it to the next level to actually be that distinctive and attractive and make sure that is in your messaging as well and aligns through your different tactics? So have a think about what makes your company stand out. What makes your company different? And it could come down to benefits you offer, the culture, your different values that you have, what's going to resonate, but really have a think about actually what makes your company stand out. Put yourself in your employees' shoes. Have a think about actually what they want, benefits that will make a difference. In the care space, it's always really easy to go, you know what, you'll be provided with a uniform, you'll get sick pay, you'll get all of that. But actually, what benefits are actually going to make a difference? And I'll be going through some of those ideas in a moment. So starting off with culture, this is really important. It's why I put it first. That community. People always say it's not necessarily the job that you're doing, but the people that you're surrounded by. And really think about that. Develop that culture, develop that community. You know, have events for staff as well, social events and things to kind of bring people together. Think about training and development opportunities. People nowadays really want those opportunities to improve, to develop, to move on to that next phase within their career. So really think about what opportunities there that you're providing for your employees. And in terms of some of the benefits, so within the care setting, especially within the care home, is you're already developing you're already for residents. And it could be a really nice touch for those that are doing a night shift. So all living crisis actually means so much to people, and it also saves them having to go and cook when they get home, etc. So that's a really nice thought to have. And in terms of well-being, so well-being is really important, I think, within the care setting as well. It can be quite demanding, it can be very emotional, and making sure that there's benefits around well-being. So whether that's a well-being hotline that you're providing, really kind of delve into what's going to make a difference to people. It could also be occasional, you know, vouchers. It could be for them to go take themselves off somewhere on one of their days off or weekends. So really thinking about actually those benefits that you're able to provide, which isn't going to cost you very much, but actually will make a huge difference to how they feel about being an employee and more likely to stay with you. So that's a little run through of employer branding, really kind of focusing on, you know, what benefits to provide employees. And on the back of that, it's about developing messaging that's going to resonate. And it could even be segmenting it between different stakeholders within the business as well. But when people first hear about you, so it's very similar to the marketing side of things. You want that good, strong SEO, that PR, but obviously more kind of tailored to recruitment. We want to make sure that actually people can easily apply to jobs. So this is the B&M Care careers website. So we've developed a marketing website and a careers website. It's really key to have a very easy job into things super easily, and it's not going to take very long. People's attention span online has, I think we all know, has reduced quite significantly. And if people aren't able to find what they need quickly, we're going to lose them. So again, really focusing in on a user-friendly website. And on the back of that, been providing insightful and supportive content as you would for your customers, but actually doing the same for your employees. So this example here on the B&M Careers website of actually testimonials directly from employees about their journey with B&M. And I think we all know when you actually hear directly from someone, that has much more of an impact than a company detailing it themselves. So that's a really great way there. Yeah, so what I would really suggest with employer branding is develop that overarching messaging and ensure that is throughout your tactics, and you can make your marketing employer branding strategy kind of work hand in hand. So you've got a mixture of more employer branding focused post on the website, on social media as well. And also what's important as well with employer branding is I get clients say to me, oh, I don't want to do too many things kind of, you know, about employer branding and employees on social media, etc., because it's not marketing focused. But actually it supports marketing too, because it's showing that actually employees are being well looked after. There's a great culture, and that would just make you feel even better about the culture and about a business, that employees are enjoying their jobs too. So the last point when it comes to employee branding, once you've really kind of delved into how you want your business to be perceived from an employee perspective, and you've really developed the values that you want to portray, is not just do that out facing, do it on your socials, do it on your website, etc. The way that you're actually going to retain people is actually living and breathing your culture. What you're portraying on the outside must be the way that employees feel on the inside. So that's why it's really important to bring employees through this journey, through that employer journey with you, so they feel part of it and they start living and breathing it with you. And also their own word of mouth, recommending your business to their friends as well. Perfect. So that actually brings me to the end of our care sector webinar this morning. And we're going to go on to our Q&A very briefly. But I thought I'd take this opportunity to mention a couple more of our webinars coming up. So in about 3 weeks or so, we have a Google Ads webinar, which is across all industries. It's really focused in on Google Ads and how to build successful campaigns. And that is with one of our PPC specialists, Jordan. And we also have a series of HubSpot webinars coming up, starting on the 21st of November with one of our specialists, James. And then our host, Dave Bex, is running another HubSpot webinar at the beginning of December. So just kind of popping that in there, some of our upcoming events. Brilliant. Thank you so much for coming along this morning. We're now going to move on to our Q&A. So Bex, is there any questions coming through?
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you, Sophie. We had obviously a couple of questions come through during. I just had one come through towards the end on employer branding as well. Just saying that it seems like a lot. How can we just even get started on it?
Yeah, no, and it's such a good point. And I think employer branding can feel very overwhelming to begin with. I would say the start of it is actually talking to your staff, to your employees, actually hearing about what will resonate with them, like the current benefits that you're providing is actually helpful, and actually thinking about cost-effective benefits that you can also provide. So first step, if I was in your shoes as in the marketing or HR department, is just really speaking to people, hearing kind of their experience, if it could be improved, and I'll take that as a starting point.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thanks, Soph. So no other questions on the chat at the minute, but I'm happy to open it up to the room if anyone's got any questions. Everyone's happy, Soph. You've answered everything.
Happy. Oh,
Love that.
I'm sure that's not quite the case.
Okay, well, we'll leave it there for today then. This session has been recorded, so we will be sending that out later on today as well. And if you do think of any questions following the session, please reach out to myself or Sophie directly, and we'll obviously be happy to help. But have a good day, everyone. Thank you for joining, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Brilliant. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.